Now I want all the question on the Arab uprising spring, and I would like people who are not from the GCC countries, because there are lots of GCC countries people asking questions. So I'm going to be discriminatory here. Right. Yeah.
Hussein Ismail, I'm professor from Lebanon. Just want to ask His Royal Highness if we are going to see, first I would like to thank him for this research meeting, which means a lot to everyone. I would like to ask if we will see further GCC support to the Libyan people and to the against the Syrian regime, which are massacring the people there right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to stop now and then turn to His Royal Highness. 2 questions on the Arab uprising, the bloodbath, the tsunami.
You must realize that when I speak for myself, not for anybody else. The question of offering refuge to Gaddafi has not risen because Mr. Gaddafi has not asked for it.
Do you think he'll be asking soon?
Well, you know, you laugh, but I think there is more to cry about in Libya than to laugh. And as such, ending the conflict there should be everybody's priority, rather than maintaining it. That's my personal view. I'm not in a position to know what's going on. We see in the papers talk about contacts between Gaddafi and the council in Benghazi, and contacts between Libyan officials and Western powers, etc. Whoever is doing the contacting, for God's sake, just end the conflict and let us have peace in Libya. And if Mr. Gaddafi wants to take refuge in Mecca or Medina, all I can say is he is someone who claims he has no position whatsoever, and as such he will be treated as someone who has no position whatsoever. And the other issue, would someone remind me what was the question? Syria. Again, for God's sake, just stop the killing. Every day, scores of people get killed. And for what? Is it a question of authority? Is it a question of money? Is it a question of survival? I don't know. I am not in contact with official circles to look at intelligence reports and to meet with official representatives of whether the opposition or the government in Syria. But for God's sake, for someone like the president of Syria to maintain that he wants to uphold the interests of the Syrian people, well, you're not doing a good job of that. And I hope that the killing just stop. And who's doing the killing? It's the armed forces, it is the police, it is Syrian killing Syrian. It is totally unacceptable. And not just lamentable, but deplorable.
Thank you. Your Excellency?
Well, I think the question was about knowledge, economy. Well, of course, we in the Gulf, we have the Millennium Development Goals. I think we were supposed to achieve those goals by the year 2015. We have already achieved them by the year 2010, with some work need to be done in the environment side, but the human development side has been done. We need to direct our education system not to graduate students for the labor market, but for the knowledge market. This is where the future is. So our economies wanted to be knowledge economies based on knowledge. And this is the policy we are working on.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have about 10 minutes, so I'm going to take 3 questions, short, sweet, to the point. You have raised, I mean, you persevere, you're patient. So, a quick question from you, and then I would like, are there some ladies here who yes, okay, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Tawfiq Rahim. I'm a fellow at the Dubai School of Government. Thank you, Your Highness and Your Excellency, for gracing us with this, I think, very engaging discussion. I think the one lesson from the Arab Spring that has come is that everything at some point changes. So what I wanted to ask was, when do you see the end of monarchy and hereditary rule in the Gulf? How far away? What would that evolution look like? And do you think that Gulf countries would take the lead in evolving those systems, or will wait for the people to force the change? Thanks.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Lady there. Yes, the lady there, yeah, standing up. What's your name again?
I'm Elizabeth Wilson, University of Manchester. What prospects do you think there are for women as a result of the Arab Spring?
Wonderful. That's what I regard to be, a model question, straight to the point. And because of that, we can have women, and yes, lady here. I am short-sighted. If you are at the back, please just let me.
Malika Moussaid. I'm Moroccan, so I'm not in GCC, so I can really speak.
Well, you've been invited, so
I am. Let me just say one thing. I'm very proud of our monarchy. We are loyalist to the monarchy. It gives us stability and identity, and I don't know how we'd live without it as a Moroccan. Not only that, the king is part of us now voting, so what's happening in the other areas had a positive impact on us because we're reflecting, we're thinking how we can do our housekeeping, and he's one of the people electing himself, a king wanting to vote like other people.
So are you answering the question?
No, the question is, how can we benefit from your experience, because all of you here wanting countries to regain stability rather than going into chaos? How can you assist us in making the good choices? We don't want to go the French Revolution, we don't want to go also the British way, but how can you assist? Because this is where I feel the progress can benefit the Arab countries.
Thank you. Want to go at the back? Somebody at the back? Yeah, please, yeah.
Thank you, the panelists, Prince Turki, Abdul Latif Zani, and Professor Yeah, the GCC has carried a mission to Yemen. It was GCC. It was Dr. Zani focused on that. It is on the table, still on the table. It was meant to be transfer of power. But what is the vision of GCC towards changes, or that its views on changes that address the problem which aroused? Because this uprising in Yemen it has causes, it has deep-rooted causes which mobilized millions of people. So what is the view of GCC towards the issues that have to be addressed, and to what extent it will help in addressing this issue, and not just a transfer of power, let's say, from one group of people to another group?
So your question is about symptoms and causes. I'm coming to you, Your Royal Highness. Quite a lot of these are directed.
Well, in answer to the question of when do I think there will be an end to monarchy, I just say, I hope never. But needless to say, rulers will rule as long as they satisfy the people's needs. whether it is monarchy, republicanism, you name it, Tsarism, empire, or whatever. And I think this is where the GCC countries in general, but Saudi Arabia in particular, has been ambitious enough to consider that the ruler is the servant of the people rather than the master of the people. And from that context, whatever, as I referred to before, the legitimate link between the ruler and the ruled in the kingdom is the principle of the bay'ah, the exchange of interests of both parties. And as long as that principle lasts, we've had in the kingdom experience of removing one king to be succeeded by another in our history. So it's not something that has not happened in the kingdom. But I will also refer all of the people present here to the fact, as I said in my presentation, that the kingdom has come out of a long history of warfare and conflict and poverty and disease. And you know, in 10,000 years or more, the Arabian Peninsula literally exported its people to the rest of the world because there was no livelihood in the peninsula to keep them there. Hence, you had waves of migrations from the peninsula to the rest of the world. For the first time in the last 50 years, after 10,000 years, that process has been reversed. It is people coming into Arabia. Because, why? Because there are means for livelihood now in the Arabian